Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. This is Gray's Guitars. Thank you for watching. Today we have an Epiphone Prophecy. As you can see here, I am doing this on a desk. The strings are kind of gross. I am, however, missing a D string. So I'm going to do a weird technique to attempt to keep this D string. The tuners on this are locking, if you can see that there. And these are all strung incorrectly. So when you have locking tuners, you do not need to wrap around the post. That is the purpose of the locking tuner, is to not have to do that. So we are going to show you the correct way to string up a guitar with locking tuners. And this is a really cool Les Paul Prophecy in the olive drab green, I think. And look at all of these crazy controls. Truss rod needs to be adjusted a little bit. Action's not bad, but that may change after I have to mess with the truss rod, because right now there is absolutely no relief in the neck whatsoever. It might even be a back bow, but it is buzzing everywhere. So we're going to have to fix that. They did a little bit of a sloppy job here with the screws and the truss rod cover. As you can see, those definitely are not flush. Other than that, no major complaints. We can go ahead and turn this on the side. The input jack is loose, but as you can see, we get this nice, beautiful carve here. Belly cut. This thing's basically brand new, minus some, I think, stand rash on the back, which doesn't seem to be picking it up here. 8-volt battery. Input jack's a little loose. That's no big deal. But fingerboard's a little gross. And it surprises me how gross this thing is, because this is a 2021. I actually looked at the serial number. I believe this is a 2021 guitar. And within 2 years, someone just loved this thing, played the crap out of it, and then they decided to trade it for my Telecaster. I decided, I've been having a little bit of difficulty selling some of the guitars I've been trying to get rid of that you've seen in the previous comparison videos. So instead, I decided, hey, let's see if he wants to trade for anything. He was looking for a bass. I offered up my basses, and he actually liked the Telecaster better. So he ended up getting my Telecaster, which is perfectly fine because I wasn't really playing it anyway. I still got my Squier, so, I still got my single coils. This also gives single coil sounds, too. This also has 24 frets. And I love a Les Paul. If you've been watching my videos for a while, I love a Les Paul. So without further ado, I'm going to unstring this thing. Let's clean up the fretboard, clean up the guitar in general. This is a satin finish, so, I'm not going to be using any polishing stuff. I'll show you what I'm doing after I get the strings off of it. Yet again, we are keeping the D string on this guitar. Alright, so I got the strings off, got my one string we're keeping over here. I'll show you what I'm doing with that in a little bit. So, cleaning a satin finish. First thing you want to do is microfiber cloth, because that way you're not scratching it. And you don't want to use any type of polish or any shiner on here unless you're actually trying to make the guitar shiny. Now, they call this an aged gloss, so there's maybe a hair of gloss to it, but it looks very satin to me. And essentially, all you need to do is use a microfiber cloth and a little bit of water. Not a lot, just a damp rag. You don't want to get enough water where it's like flooding the guitar, messing up your electronics, just a little bit. And then the second thing you can also use if you have some stubborn stains on it is I've been told, and I have done this in the past on an Epiphone Les Paul Gothic when there was candle wax on it, you can use vinegar on it. You don't want to use vinegar on a nitrocellulose guitar because of the acid. On a polyurethane finish like this, it's not going to hurt anything. So that is something to keep in mind too. If it is nitrocellulose, pretty much you're just using water on that. You're not going to be cleaning that with, a satin finish anyway. You're not going to want to be cleaning that with vinegar. But with a polyurethane finish like this, no issues here. I am going to wipe off the fretboard because it's rather dusty. The first thing you're going to do with your locking tuners after getting everything undone is, see how the hole is facing towards the nut? You want every toe of the tuners to be facing as close to the nut as possible. Now, this is a Gibson, or an Epiphone in this case, so we're going to angle these slightly because they do hit the nut at slightly different angles. But essentially, you want the tuning holes, the hole where the string goes through, facing straight down. That's the first thing you're going to do. I'm going to continue to clean this first and foremost. Then I'm going to polish up the fretboard. I'm going to clean it up, hydrate it with some of the Old English lemon oil. I've had this bottle forever. The label even fell off. But fretboard's looking a little dry, a little gross. So I'm going to just clean it up with some water. As you can see, this is just off the fretboard. So we got a little dirt coming off the fretboard. We're going to do that. The frets really aren't too bad. I don't really think they need to be super polished, you know. I might use a little rubbing alcohol on them to get some of it off. But you're talking, this is a 2-year-old guitar. So there's not a whole lot you need to do. I know this was a little bit neglected, but there's really not a whole lot you need to do with the frets at this point. But bear with me a few minutes, and I'm going to show you what we're doing with that one string. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do, how to properly put strings on this guitar. Alright, so I did condition the fretboard. I'll move my light so you can see it. But it is nice and conditioned now. I did one layer. I came back, a lot of dry spots. Basically, that means you need a little bit more. So you just put a little bit more on it. Essentially, you want to do this until it stops absorbing the oil, and then wipe off the excess oil. That's the way I was taught how to do it anyway. The string, we did what we needed to do. And I'll be honest with you, we'll see what happens. So this is what I got off of the string. You can see all these little grimy marks coming off. So what I did is this technique, which do it if you want to, you don't have to. Never done it before, but I wanted to try it. I figure why not? I'm only doing it on just the D string. You boil it in water. So you get a pot of water, bring it to a boil, and you can only boil it for 3 to 5 minutes. And with guitar strings, the reason you only want to boil it that much, because if you do it anymore, if you have any coating, by the way, don't do this with coated strings, because it will completely take off the coating because you're boiling it. Bass strings, you can do it for a little longer. So with a guitar string, you don't want to boil them for more than like 3 to 5 minutes. That's what I saw was the recommended time. I went with 4 minutes. Just did it right in the middle because this is the first time I'm doing it. And then, you know, I used a paper towel to wipe it off afterwards, used a little bit of alcohol, and it still looks grimy to me, but apparently this can possibly make the string last longer. At the same time, you can buy a pack of strings for like $7, $8. Used to be $6 when I first started buying guitar strings, but you're talking that was a decade ago. So we're going to wait until this dries, and then I will show you how to properly string this back up. So as you can see, I have a couple of strings on it. I did put that D string back on it that we needed to keep. So all you need to do is, however you string the guitar normally do, make sure it's hitting the saddle. You go on this end, make sure it's in the nut, and then we are doing this string. So I can't do it, unfortunately, with one hand, but all you do is put a little bit of tension on the string, you know, pull it as tight as it goes, make sure it's on the nut and in the saddle, and then you just tighten the screw. You don't wrap it around the post with a locking tuner. All you do is make sure that your tuning holes where the string goes through are pointed towards the nut as straight as you possibly can get them. Then you just string it through as normal, pull the string kind of tight, and then tighten your nut down here. That is on the tuner. Bada bing, bada boom. And that is how you tune, or string, I should say, a guitar with locking tuners. And tuning it is very simple. You just tune it to pitch after you get all the strings on there. Do not cut the strings until you tune it to pitch, because you may find that you may need a little bit more string length depending on the tuning you're going for. And if that is the case, then you want to have the extra strings sticking out so you have a little bit of wiggle room before you start snipping away with your wire cutters or scissors or whatever else you're going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and string this guitar up, tune it to pitch, do a setup, intonation if I need to, and we should be good to go. Other than that, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, share, like, follow, comment, and let me know what you want to see for future guitar music related content. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good one.